Hello. Today, it is a very quick video, but I just wanted to kind of express, I guess, my support and encourage you, if you can, to support the protesters in Iran, in any way possible. My first video was about Iran, or Persia, as we went over that in the video. Iran and Persia are the same thing. And there's just a lot of really good people, in Iran, both inside the country and in the diaspora. I know several myself, and I know that just the Iranian kind of people, the nation of Iran in general, has contributed so much and is capable of contributing so much, to the world. And I think, as most people know by now, the Ayatollah regime that currently rules Iran and has ruled Iran for the past 40 years, I think has just brutally suppressed the will and the kind of the courage of the Iranian people for a very long time. And so, if you know anybody, that either inside the country or has channels inside the country, that would be really great to kind of send any kind of support or just let them know that we're out there supporting them. And to end this video, I just wanted to kind of rattle off of what Persia or Iran has kind of contributed to the world and why it's so important. Obviously, every protest movement, every people that want liberation are um, equally valid in their wanting to do that. But I think Iran has a very special place in my heart just because of the amount of kind of culture and history that it has behind it, right? So, for example, the first Iranian Empire, the Achaemenid Persian Empire, right? So this was all the way in the 500s BC, was really the first to kind of invent a proto version of human rights, right? Which is very ironic now, right? Like the current Ayatollah regime in Iran is atrocious on human rights. They are one of the worst violators of human rights in the world, especially of women. But back in the day, Cyrus the Great, the founder of the First Persian Empire, was so merciful that in the Bible he actually appears as he is referred to as Messiah by the Jews, the only non-Jew to be granted this title, um, in the entire Bible, because he grants the Jewish people the right to return to their homeland and rebuild their temple. And this kind of mercifulness kind of extended to everybody pretty much in the empire. So every people that Cyrus conquered as part of the First Persian Empire were treated with such mercy that Cyrus is an extremely loved figure, right? So despite being a very accomplished and very kind of ruthless conqueror in some ways, right? So some people compare him to Alexander the Great or Genghis Khan. Unlike those figures, Cyrus was extremely merciful to his conquered peoples. He let them kind of practice their religion, and he is still very popular, almost unanimously today. And so the first kind of um, innovations in human rights and kind of law and rule by law, right, kind of advanced kind of provincial government were all kind of pioneered in ancient Persia, which most people don't know, because again, Persia is not very well covered by the curricula of the kind of the Western educational world, um, and so I think it was worth this kind of reminding everybody that Iran was not always this exemplar of basically one of the worst and most brutal human rights abusers in the world. Iran used to be kind of the centerpiece of the civilized world in a lot of ways. And even after the Islamic conquests in around the 700s, most or a significant number of the most famous Islamic Golden Age philosophers, mathematicians, polymaths were in fact Persian or Iranian, right? So Al-Ferdowsi is the most famous one. Ferdowsi, Ibn Sina was another famous one. A lot of the kind of the innovations associated with that era, right? So, for example, the invention of algebra. Um, I believe, I believe a lot of that kind of cultural zenith or cultural renaissance that the Islamic caliphates enjoyed for a very long time, actually came from Iran, right? So back then, Iran was technically a province of the Islamic Caliphate, but it did not lose its unique Iranian identity, right? So as mentioned in the previous video, that's a very, very common pattern in pretty much all of Iranian history, where foreigners will come in and conquer Iran, quote unquote, but either they become more Iranian themselves, or the Iranian people just kind of keep their cultural identity so strong and so intact that they actually become the most ardent contributors of culture in that era or in that kind of polity. Um, yeah, and so this obviously continues until the present day. Um, and I think these days, even despite the kind of the atrocities of the Ayatollah regime in Iran, I think the Iranian protesters are showing incredible bravery. I mean, as I said, Iran right now is a country that is run by a supreme leader. Literally, his title is supreme leader, a religious clergy, and they literally have a morality police that will arrest anybody that they deem is not uh, they deem to not be following the quote unquote correct Islamic rules, right? So this includes, of course, women wearing the hijab, or not, or even even if they are wearing a hijab, not wearing it correctly can be a crime. Um, so those were a lot of words all at once, but I hope this video kind of alerts you or somebody else to just number one, the urgency and kind of the incredible bravery of the protesters in Iran right now, and how much of a kind of an uphill battle they're facing, in a lot of ways, and also just the incredible contribution of the Iranian and larger Persian people to world history. Again, Iran is pretty much where human rights were invented. We think of today as the West, the civilized West with their human rights and the rule of law and kind of the backwards Middle East and so forth. But remember, human rights and civilization were invented in the Near East or the Middle East, and Iran was the center of a lot of it. The center of a lot of it. So again, don't believe Zack Snyder's 300. The Persians were a very, very well organized and extremely benevolent empire in a lot of ways. And all luck and Godspeed to the people of Iran in their moment. So thank you for watching this video, and I promise the next one will be slightly less serious.